participants in the webinar. All right, it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. A very warm welcome to all our participants present here today. HRAI welcomes you all to the 2023 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Your Brand, Your Vision. To know more about HRAI and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. I request all participants to give your feedback on the session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. Dhawan Bhau, Managing Partner, Technique Networking Co. With an experience of over 18 years in the industry of HR and business development, he has explored various paths of how to implement. Request all the participants to kindly follow. Okay, so with an experience of over 18 years in the industry of HR and business development, he has explored various paths of how to implement once the key to unlock a knocking door is clicked. Starting with his career, he has worked with placement consultants and moving forward, have worked with MNCs where he has served not only in gaining results, but in designing the path that can enhance his growth structure. Roles and responsibilities would come in various opportunities towards us, but it is us who has to think that whether we will be able to make out the best of it or not. Today, with such inevitable experience, Mr. Bhau would say still his learning is continuous because no one can masterize one path to the fullest, as every path to success is always under construction. Build it to win it. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Now, without wasting much time, I would hand over the platform to Mr. Dhawan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Faisal. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, and good morning, good afternoon, members and viewers. Thank you for joining us today, and a very warm welcome to everyone. It is my pleasure to be a speaker in the masterclass, and I thank the entire HRAI team for giving me this. Well, so with the brief introduction that we got regarding the business development, as you all know, I'll be talking about business development, but in a quite different way. Before we begin, as you know, you have got the brief about me, but the background of my company, the Technique Networking company, is that when it came into my mind, the things that I did and the things that I was doing were completely as the people were doing in today's market. But to think something out of the box, it took a time. And when I took that much of time, I did the research analysis, and then I came up with the idea of doing something different. So before we begin, I'll just share my screen with you for reference. Okay. So business development. So in today's period, there are multiple platforms through which we do the marketing. That is, LinkedIn is there, Facebook, Instagram, many things are there. But it is us who has to decide how to go further, when to go further, and where to go further. And before that, to do that, the passion, the fire in the passion, if that passion and if that fire doesn't hunt you, then remember that the growth is inevitable. I believe in one thing: implement rather than thinking. So just when you think in your mind, or just when you think that I want to do this, but unless and until you are not able to implement it, the vision or the goal that you want to achieve is not going to reach at the destiny what you want to go further. So as I said, about my vision, I'll come to the another part, which is the part of business development in the today's market. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So it is a very wide area and a sphere of development for any startup or even for a well-established organization. Offline publicity is like hitting a bow in a fog where you don't know your target audience, your footfall, or your sales. When it comes to digital marketing, you have choices to define, which we all know where to set the targeted area, the target audience, the kind of interest we want to create into the people, and that will increase our sales, increase our business development. Say there is a simple saying, unless and until you don't develop a scarcity or a necessity of something, the sales of your product or your brand is not going to increase. So either create a scarcity or show the necessity. Either do of this and make sure to grab the market at the fullest. Say, let's think it in a different way. When you see, when the digital marketing started, the first and foremost platform was there in the market was Facebook. Facebook was the only way to communicate, express, target, sell, and earn. Since the time changed, Instagram came into the market, LinkedIn came into the market, and slowly the growth started. But slowly, frequently, these two markets, Facebook and Instagram, converted and diversified from a professional platform to a social platform. So if I talk about a social and a professional platform, the social intensity, the social connectivity is equally important in compared to the professional equality and professional connectivity. But to gain a brand, to gain a business, professional connectivity is way wide important in compared to what you gain from the social connectivity. So your marketing growth is not all about what you speak about your business, what you sell in your business, but it also depends on what your brand speaks. So you don't have to develop or depend only upon your sales, but you have to show your brand. Your brand visibility is taking like your entire entrepreneurship journey to next level. And it's not only your personal brand, business branding, even your personal brand. As I talk about the professionals and the entrepreneurs, it is much important to take your professional skills and your professional levels to the next level, because we know that in today's industry, whenever if we are an high level or a associate who is going for a work opportunity, nowadays LinkedIn is the platform through which our entire professional journey is being taken through by any of the organization. So that is the face that you are going to show to the person, to the company, to the organization, or to the HR when you approach them. And when that approach is convincing, when that approach is entirely powerful, then and then only you are going to make a difference and you are going to stand out of the box. So this is what I believe, because unless and until you are not standing out of the crowd, you are not someone who is being doing something different than what others are doing, then there is no difference in the regular people or the person who is doing the things regularly and we doing the same things in a similar way. So I remember a very well quote said by Mr. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. And similarly, Bill Gates says that it's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to hit the lessons from your failure. So by this, it is being said that things doesn't come easily to us. We have to hunt for the things. We have to go for the things. So your brand is your growth. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to grow your brand. In today's period, if I give you two options that you are going into the market to purchase a car, you have two options with you. One is Volkswagen, one is Volvo. It's obvious. Both the brands, both are the brand names in the market. But The person who would get attracted more towards Volvo would be a higher side, because that brand has created their identity into the market since long. Volkswagen has also done the same thing. But what happens is that along with the brand, there are other constraints that are being seen into the company, their durability and their sustainability in the market, their approach, their services, their after sales approach, everything. Both the companies are giving same things, same values, value to the client and everything. But then to why we are going towards Volvo and not Volkswagen? Why we are going towards Mercedes? Why we are going towards say Audi and not to the regular brands? It's not that they have not developed their brand into them. They have developed their brand into the market. They have gained their footfall. They have gained their steps into the market. But the reason behind that is the brand they have acquired is there's the dedication they have given to their company since past so many years is way more important. Similarly, when you are doing something, when you are executing your plans, I would say never make any backup for your plans, because once you make a backup for your plan, you will never ever plan for any other things, and you will never go for the actual plan that you have planned for yourself, because you will think that I don't want to put 100% efforts. And the reason behind not putting the 100% efforts is just because you will think that, okay, this plan is not going to success. I have something there already in my mind and I will do that. So that is not the proper way of approaching, because what will happen that you will not put your 100% efforts in the existing plan. And when you are not putting your 100% efforts and not giving your 100% efforts in the existing plan, there are major failure chances in your next backup plan also, because you will start thinking that, okay, this basic plan got failed. I am going on a backup plan. But now what if this backup plan also fails? Because you never know what the struggles are, what the coincidences are, what the correlations would be, and how the approach would be. Because you need to judge, you need to study, you need to appreciate, and you need to act accordingly. If I don't act accordingly, if I don't judge accordingly, then the result, the focus, and the goal that I want to reach would not be able to be achievable. So never make a plan. Always start without a plan. Start from a scratch. Make sure that you make a plan as things go on day in, day out. Make a new day, new start every day. And when you go with that, always make sure that nothing else but your brand should hold the market. Because unless and until your brand is not holding the market, you are not going to get what you are deserving to be to get into the business. So that's the actual point of creating your visibility into them. Now, doing something different. So there are many various things that you should do. People are following the businesses, groups, and many other things into the market. But they actually don't know what to do, how to follow, when to follow, and how to react when they are following the person, company, group, anyone on the social media platforms. So LinkedIn is one of the platform of a professional network where you grow not only on yourself, but your brand, your business, your identity, and the growth of your entire journey. So that is how you need to work upon. So when you get connected with someone, it is much more important to communicate with them. It is much more important to build your rapport with them. Unless and until you build your rapport with them, you are not able to grow. That is what you have to make sure. And to grow your professional platform, you have to be present in LinkedIn in today's world. That is what one thing you need to remember. If you are not on LinkedIn, I would request everyone to be there on LinkedIn. And if you are there on LinkedIn, make sure to grow your network, make sure to grow your followers, make sure which industry to follow, when to follow, what to follow, and how to follow. There are various several things that you need to take care about. Apart from that, visibility. So your brand, as I said, has a visibility on the social media platform. Apart from that, the radio sessions where we get the brand advertisements, that is also something which we need to take care about, because an excessive advertisement of your brand is like killing the instinct and killing the dedication towards your brand. Say, if I keep hammering a brand in your mind 10 times, 15 times, 20 times a day, then after a certain period of time, you will think that no, I don't want to go ahead with this brand. The reason behind that is why this brand is going so much hyper into the market and creating so hype into the market. Because every coin has two sides, the positive sides and the negative sides. So when you are thinking about the positive side, you have to think about the negative side too. So while pitching your brand, you always need to make sure that on what time, on which days of the week you need to focus, you need to embrace, and you need to take your brand into the vision and bring into to your audience. Say, if for an example, if you decide for the 2 days in the week, middle of the week, catch a day in the middle of the week, that is either Tuesday or Wednesday, which is the hot day of the week, where the people have already completed 35 to 40% of their task on Monday or Tuesday as the starting of the week, and their remaining task would be completed in rest 2 to 3 days, as there are 2 or 3 days pending in completing their work at their organization. So select the day accordingly, which would be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, where you would be able to post or you would be able to push your activities in front of your audience, which will make sure and enhance your brand in front of them. Give something informative, that why they should work with you, why they should come to you, why they should join you, what exclusivity you will give to them, what you will do something different from them apart from others, and how it will be beneficiary for them. And when you show them that, and when you say pin on their pain point, that, oh, okay, this is what I'm actually facing and I should get the solution to that. At that period of time, that person or that audience is going to get connected with you, and they will come to you, they'll talk with you, they'll understand your points, and they'll communicate. Similarly, whenever if whenever you are going for a second post, keep it on a weekend side, that is either on Friday in late night or in on the Saturday first half by 10 or 12 o'clock. When you do that, your audience will be either in a weekend mode, or they will be in a mode of a relaxation where their entire week's work would have been done. And during this period, I would suggest not to go for such kind of a boost where you are doing things differently. Rather, post or boost something about your brand which you have achieved in your journey. That milestone you have achieved, the milestone you have completed, the milestone you have covered. So that will also build a trust, because unless and until a trust is being developed between the two individuals or two organizations, no work would be carried out easily. So always make sure that whatever you do, your trust should be there between each other. When the trust level goes from 0 to 20%, 21 to 50, 51 to 80, and 81 to 100. From 21 to 50, it is easy to take up to 50%. But when it has to be taken from 50 to 100, it is ample of work that you need to do upon. You have to prove many things. You have to prove your journey. You have to prove your work. You have to prove your scalability. You have to prove that no, you can do anything and everything that will come to your path, and you can do it without any hesitation, and you have options for doing it. Once you are able to do it, once you achieve it, assure it that you will take the test trust level to 100%. And when that trust level has reached 100%, you will have to make sure that that trust level remains intact for entire journey that you are connected with each other. Because apart from digital marketing, apart from LinkedIn, apart from Facebook, Instagram, radio stations, televisions, or anything else, I would say the uh, advertisement or the connections that are there who are working with you, the organizations who are working with you, when they would refer you to someone else, nothing can be the best. That is like a cherry on your cake, because they are referring you to their friends, to their organizational structures, to their organizational cycles. Means they have that trust on you. They know that yes, you can do it. When you have done it for them, you can do it for others too. So always make sure to give your best. So that's what I believe you should do it. Now, when you have built that trust, what you should do, the result, which is the most important part. When it comes to result, you will have to make sure that the results that you give to your client, you give to your company, you give to yourself are always analytical. You need to judge them. You need to read them. Make your goal sheet, make your plan. Every week, read your results. Make sure to study them. Say today, if we have reached that I have got 10% result, next in next 2 days, I have to reach it to 25. So how you will cover that 15%? For that, you need to make a plan. And that result analytics should be always there with you. Always try to judge that where your KRAs, the key result areas, are going correct and where they are not going correct. When they are not going correct, I would say cut them directly right away from them rather than pushing on them. Because when you will push on your undesired, unrectified KRAs, what will happen that you will lose on those KRAs where you are already working and getting the results, and your journey is on a growth level. So always make sure to deduct the KRAs that are not giving you the results, that are not giving you the accurate points, and make sure to work more harder on the result areas where you are getting the actual results, and take them to the another level, and make sure that when they are in the existence, you take it to level 20 to level 40. So that is how you need to work on. That is the major key result area, right? And when the results are there, always make sure to show them. Unless and until you show your results, there will not be any other chance for you to stand out into the market. When I am doing so, you also have to do it. When I'm giving results to my client, you also have to give the results to a client. Because if you don't give the results to your client is not going to stand by with you. You have to show them that, yes, this is the result and this is what it has happened. Don't worry whether the results are positive or negative, because as I said, coin has two sides. Sometimes the results might be negative, but you have to show them that the results are negative and why the results are negative. Results might be negative due to some unavoidable circumstances, due to the circumstances that are not controllable by you. And sometimes it might happen that due to some circumstances which you forgot to implement and the results got negative, then you will have to make sure that you implement those results in next session, and you get those results positive and transfer them to the client. So always make sure that your results are measurable, your results are achievable, and your goals are also achievable. And don't set goals in such a way that you think, okay, I'll get this much goals. Say if I'm having my own company, I would not get a set a target that, okay, in this month I'll get 100 customers in one go. That's not possible. Be realistic. Unless and until you won't be realistic, unless and until you won't be realistic with yourself, you will not be able to show that realistic picture to your client. So always be realistic with yourself, always be realistic with what you want to do, and make sure to achieve accordingly. That's what I would like to say in terms of the result. Now, in this entire thing, I would like to say one thing very clear, that when you grow your brand and your business, odds are always eager to really waiting to welcome you, and those odds are such which can drop you from the height of the top of the height to the bottom of the ground at the scratch from where you started. But that's the only place where you don't have to lose your motivation, your courage, because when you started, you know how you started and with what you started. So you are the only one who knows that, again, how you can grow. So unless and until you will risk it, you will not gain it. If there is no risk involved, you are not going to gain any achievement in your life, in your business, or in growing your brand and taking it to the next level. So make sure that always take risk. You have to take risk. See the competitors, what risk they are taking. If I talk about my competitors, I'm thinking that if my competitor is giving me my one of my target client services at the X amount, why should I go for X amount? I'll lower the cost or I'll keep at the same cost, but I will do something out of the box which that competitor is not giving to my client. And when I will do that, my client would get satisfied and he will get done work by me rather than going to my competitor and get the work done. So always make sure that your path of success is always under construction, as it was mentioned earlier. So never take a journey in an easy way. When things come easily to your way, always think that there is something hidden behind that. A ripe fruit is behind that which you need to cut off, because in the journey of your growth, in the journey of your brand growth, in the journey of your business growth, or in the journey of your life, things never come so easily. You have to put your efforts. Unless and until you put those efforts, you are not able to get what you want to and what you opt for. So I would always say one thing, that growth is inevitable and measurable unless and until you desire to measure it, unless and until you desire to give your best to it. So that is what I want to say, right? So this is how your visibility has to be designed across. Apart from that, when you're working with an organization and if you're not having your own entrepreneurship, always make sure your presence in your organization has to be a exclusive presence. Make sure that you give the best to the company. Make sure you give the best results, come up with those kind of ideas which helps in growing your organization to the next level, and where your employee must think that, okay, this is something which we should implement, rather than just thinking and not doing it. Do it, because failure is always there, but those who learn from that failure are always going to learn the success. But those who think that, no, I don't want to do it, I'll fail. What if I'll not achieve it? What if the results would not be as desired? Well, no one gets the desired results at the first go. If I talk about Bill Gates, if I talk about Jack Ma, they started. when they started their career, they were also facing the results which were not in their hands. They were also thinking that, okay, this is not what we want. This is not what we expected. We are expecting something huge. We want to do something huge for the market. And constantly they kept on working, and things came across their mind, things came across their uh, dedication, and kept doing it. Once they kept doing it, it started growing. And when it started growing, today you can see at what level they have reached. But practice to perfection. Unless and until you will not practice to perfection, you will not reach the place where you want to reach. So that's what I want to say. And I would like to say that, as I stated previously, make sure this thing very clearly in your mind, that never make any other plans in your career, in your entrepreneurship, that you can opt out as an option, so that it can be easily adapted, to which it will not allow you to stick to your original plan and to your original objective, which was designed by yourself, no one else. Because your objectives, your goals, your plan, and your growth is designed by us, by no one else. So we must make sure to stick to that design, so that we get implemented to what we want. Always keep a habit, make sure to follow the habit, and unless and until that habit is not being followed, make sure to repeat it. Repeat, implement, repeat and implement. Unless and until you will not able to do this, you will not be able to get what you want to get. So make sure to get it and achieve it. And it is not difficult to achieve it. It's just you have to change your vision. If you see a glass of water which is half empty and half full, if I see it as it is a half empty glass, my vision is just that I'm seeing the things that are not possible, not achievable, and not acceptable. Whereas when I will see, okay, yes, this glass is half full, which means there are possibilities, there are chances, there is something which I can do. Yes, where I can pour more water and make this half empty glass a full glass. So these are the things which we need to implement, and which we need to learn from ourselves and from our day-to-day routines, because our day-to-day routine life structure also makes us learn many new things which we have to implement in our life, in our business, and in our brand also. As every brand also speaks about their founder, their director, or the person who has named that brand. Because no brand name is just given for the name, for the sake of giving it. There is always a vision and a thought process behind that name. Say, as I talk about my brand also, Technic Networking Company. So why it is different is I'm doing something different, which is not there into the market as if now, and it is something out of the box, and it is a technique which I have learned and I am implementing it. The reason behind that, it is called Technic Networking Company. So that is what I would like to share with you. Right. Thank you very much. And I'll hand it over to Faisal again.
Thank you, Mr. Dhawan. So before we move into the Q&A session, we will be initiating the poll. So request all the participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all the participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HREI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details, name, and session attended in an email ID to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the end of this month. We will email the e-certificate to you based on the details received. We'll wait for some questions, Mr. Dhawan. In case we are not having any questions, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. I don't see any questions coming up. All right, so thank you, Mr. Dhawan, for this insightful and intriguing session.
Most welcome.
Before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank all our event partners, Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgro, TLE, and WICCI for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about them, request you to kindly visit the links provided in the chat window. Thank you once again, dear speaker and our participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass tomorrow on the 25th of July, 2023. That's it from our today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dhawan.
Thank you.